If you are not using a business credit card like this one, then you are artificially limiting the amount of available credit that you could potentially have. Hi everyone, my name is Ben and this channel is dedicated to all things personal finance related. Now when it comes to business credit cards, there is 3 amazing traits that business credit cards have. And the first one is they usually have enormous sign-up bonuses. These bonuses are going to get you enough points or airline miles that you can easily begin to travel the world like you would always hoped to. Number 2, business credit cards typically have relatively large credit lines associated with them. This is going to give you that purchasing power to go out and fund your dreams. And number 3, business credit cards typically do not report to your personal credit score. Business credit cards and business credit score is completely different than your personal credit score, with 1 or 2 caveats which I'll get to later in this video. And hands down, the best part about business credit cards is that you don't need a business in order to actually apply for these business credit cards. I mean, if you want to get technical, yes, you need a business, but do you really need a business? I mean, it's kind of like that cartoon with that Russian character from Street Fighter. How does it go?
You have to have business, but it doesn't mean you have to have business.
You see, when you read through the rules and regulations when you're applying for these business credit cards, you will quickly find out that almost everything qualifies as a legitimate business when you're trying to apply for these business credit cards. Look, you don't have to be the CEO of some major company. In fact, you don't even have to have your own little mom and pop shop. A business can be almost anything, guys. The IRS defines a business as a business is generally an activity carried out for a livelihood or in good faith to make a profit. And that's the beauty of it, guys. Anything that in good faith you expect to make a profit on is considered a business. And as soon as you have a business, you can then apply for a business credit card. So in those terms, a business can be any random side hustle that you use to gain a little bit of extra income. Do you drive for Uber and Lyft on the weekend? Do you rent out your spare bedroom on Airbnb? Maybe you just walk dogs. Whatever it is that you're doing to earn a little bit of income, that's a business, folks. Mow your neighbor's lawn? Boom, business. Babysit on the weekends? Boom, business. Sell your artsy junk that you make on Etsy? Boom, business. Beat up little kids and take their lunch money? Boom, business. But seriously guys, don't do that last one. While beating up kids and taking their lunch money would technically make you a businessman, according to the IRS, it would also make you a terrible person. I mean, a business is so generic in the eyes of the IRS that it can be almost any income producing activity. Better yet, it doesn't even have to be providing you income just yet. And you don't even have to have started just yet in order to apply for a business credit card. If we go back to that IRS definition of a business, it specifically states that you don't even have to be making a profit yet. You just have to expect to make a profit. Let's be real guys, the overwhelming majority of businesses ultimately fail. So just because you're not making a profit doesn't mean that it's not a business. As long as you are doing this activity with the expectation that you hope to be profitable, at least someday, then it qualifies as a business. Now it's very important to realize that your business line of credit is completely different than your personal credit. They are 2 completely distinct entities. And the overwhelming majority of the time, your business credit cards are not going to report on your personal credit. You are building your business credit by using a business credit card, and you are building your personal credit by using your personal credit cards. And this system can be taken advantage of in a few ways, and one of the biggest ways is that people usually have a relatively low personal credit score because of the amount of debt that most consumers are in. They have a lot of credit card debt, and that debt is killing their credit utilization. And credit utilization makes up a massive 30% of your personal credit score. So by having all of that debt on your personal credit cards, it is killing your credit score. But if instead you had that debt on some of your business credit cards, now that debt ratio is not reporting to your personal credit score. And that can dramatically increase your personal credit score just simply by shifting some of your debt into your business. Now, when you sign up for a business credit card, they are usually going to do a hard pull on your personal line of credit. So they are going to look at your credit score, and that is going to ding your personal credit score, usually by about 2, 3, 4 points. But those points come back relatively quickly. And then once you get approved for this business credit card, as long as this card is not from Discover Card or Capital One, it will never report to your personal credit lines, assuming you actually pay your bills like you're supposed to. So don't get business credit cards from Discover and Capital One. I mean, those companies suck anyway. Generally speaking, the only time that your business credit cards is actually going to report to your personal credit is if you just flat up do not pay these bills. And if this stuff gets sent to collections, in those cases, those massive delinquencies can report to your personal lines of credit. So you do still have to pay this stuff, but as long as you're making payments, it's not going to affect your personal credit score. And applying for business credit cards is ridiculously easy. It's really not much harder than just applying for a personal credit card. So let's take a few minutes and walk through the application for a Chase Inc. business credit card. Alright guys, so here we are at the landing page for the Chase Inc. Business Cash Credit Card. And the first thing it's going to ask you to do is put in all of your personal information, just like any normal credit card. And it's going to have you put in your officer title, your business title. So if you have a more legitimate business, if you're the president or something like that, you can go ahead and put that in. For most people, if you're just doing like the DoorDash or Uber and Lyft, mowing lawns, whatever, you can just put owner. It really doesn't matter. And then obviously you're going to put in your name, date of birth, that kind of stuff, and your social security number. After that, it's going to ask you for your address. Like I said, pretty standard stuff. And your total gross income. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this total gross annual income is if you click on this little icon, it says this is what you earn or reasonably expect to earn. Now, that reasonably expect to earn is the big item here. So even if you haven't started your business yet, or maybe you haven't been in business for a full year to show your earnings on your tax reports or anything like that, this is an estimation of what you expect to earn. So like I said, just because you don't have any income just yet from your business, that doesn't mean that you can't apply for a business credit card. So in this box, you would just put what you estimate that you will earn for the year. And then you're going to scroll down and we're going to go to the actual business information. You're going to choose a business structure. Once again, if you have a more legitimate company, if you have actually filed with the state and formed an LLC or formed a corporation of some sort, you can go ahead and select that. But for most people, it will be a sole proprietorship if you are just doing this as a side hustle, or maybe a partnership if you are doing this with, maybe you started a business with your brother or your spouse or something like that. It could be a partnership. So most people, it's going to be one of these two, the sole proprietorship if you're doing it by yourself, or a partnership. And then we're going to keep on going down. Does your business use any other name, like a trade name? That's really only going to be if you have registered this with the state. So for most people, you're just going to go ahead and click no on that one. Now this tax ID type, the employer identification number, once again, if you have formed an LLC or an actual C Corp or S Corp or something like that, you will likely have an EIN number. But for our purposes, driving for Uber and Lyft, you can actually just click on this and put in your social security number. So then you would just put in your social security number, and then it's going to ask you, is your business physical address the same as your personal address? For most people, just go ahead and hit yes. Number of employees, if it's just you driving for Uber and Lyft, you can just go ahead and hit 1. If you do have a partnership or something like that, you can go ahead and add additional employees. You can put in a business phone number. If you don't have an actual business phone number, once again, just go ahead and put in your personal cell phone number. And then it's going to ask you for your business established date. When did you actually form this company? And your annual business revenue once again. And then for business category, it usually has a whole bunch of different options. So maybe you're, driving for Uber and Lyft, that might be, transportation or something like that. So you can go ahead and click that. and then it'll pop up more business types. So in this case, you'll just find whichever one is most suitable for you. It might be, who knows, maybe like a taxi or limousine service. That pretty well describes what Uber and Lyft is. Just pick whatever you think is most applicable. And then it's going to ask you for your estimated monthly spend. How much money do you expect to be putting on this credit card each and every month? Now, if you're doing something like driving for Uber and Lyft, obviously you are not going to probably be spending $10,000 a month on this credit card. So be accurate with this stuff. I would always recommend that you estimate on the high side, but make sure it's actually a legitimate number. Don't go crazy with your monthly spend just because you're trying to get a higher credit limit. This is one of the few ways that you can start to actually get turned down for this stuff. If they think that you are just making up numbers just to make up numbers, they will decline you for these cards. They do know roughly what a taxi and limousine service is putting on their cards every month. So don't be saying that you're putting on $1 million. And then once all that information is complete, you would just scroll down to the bottom. I've read and accept, and you would hit submit. So that's really it, guys. It is that simple to apply and get accepted for a business credit card. As long as your personal credit score is at least somewhat decent and you're not just flat out fabricating and making up that you're making, $1 million a month driving for Uber and Lyft. As long as your numbers are somewhat realistic, you're gonna get approved for a business credit card. Now, if you are saying that you're going to be spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars on your credit card every month, who knows, maybe you do have an actual legitimate business and those numbers are actually correct. In that case, they probably will ask you for some more documentation before they just start approving you for a credit limit of, $100,000 or $200,000 on this credit card. So just be aware of that. But as long as you're just saying that you're driving it for Uber and Lyft or some smaller business, some sort of a side hustle, there's usually no documentation involved. You don't actually have to show a profit and loss statement or anything like that in order to actually get approved for one of these cards. Like I said, it's not that difficult to apply for a business credit card. And while yes, you technically need a business in order to qualify for a business credit card, you really don't need a business because almost anything classifies as a business according to the IRS. And to make matters even better, as soon as you have a business, you can start making business deductions towards your taxes. And if you're interested in the business deductions for tax purposes, be sure to comment down below, and if you're interested in that, I'll make a whole separate video just on that topic. But that's going to wrap it up for us today, guys. If you found this video useful, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, give the video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and as always, I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.